Hello, my name is Neil and I work for the Essex Fire and Police Education Team. Myself and the rest of my colleagues in the education team visit schools all over Essex every day to undertake lessons on a variety of different topics, safety topics, as part of the school's PSHE curriculums. Today I'm going to talk to you about our being safe as a pedestrian and staying safe while cycling, which is part of the Making Safer Journeys presentation. In that presentation, we understand a bit about the fire service role in keeping people safe on the roads, making safer independent journeys by understanding the risks, and also how we can reduce those risks. A significant element for the fire service in helping to save lives is attending road traffic collisions, commonly referred to as RTCs, where drivers or passengers may be trapped in vehicles and need help to be safely removed. The fire service emergency personnel are trained in the use of a significant range of heavy duty equipment designed to be used in RTCs. The heavy duty equipment includes cutters. These are often referred to as the jaws of life and are used for cutting people out of vehicles when they can't be safely removed on their own. And these can exert a force of up to 95 tonnes. Spreaders are tools with powerful jaws that can open up to 70 centimetres and be used typically to force open a door if it's in a vehicle, if required, if it's jammed. The fire service also use rams to create space at collisions and stabilise vehicles while the vehicles are being cut up. Now, as we begin secondary school, we may be given more freedom to make independent journeys and also have choices about how those journeys are made. Until we have the opportunity to learn to drive, a significant number of our independent journeys will be as a pedestrian. If you are 12 to 16-year-old, there are a number of risks we should be aware of based on the statistics for road safety gathered by the UK government. Typically, October and November see the most pedestrian deaths and serious injuries amongst our age group. If it is dark when people are travelling, including getting to and from school, and if the road conditions are bad, we will have possibly more accidents. Friday is the day of the most accidents statistically, which are deaths and serious injuries for 12 to 16-year-olds. And Sunday is the safest day. For this age group, the time of day that is most dangerous for pedestrians for fatal accidents occurs between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m, which is the time most of us are heading home from school. Although the UK has a relatively good road safety record, out of all the 28 EU member states, the UK has the second lowest rate of road deaths per million of population. We still have to consider the risks when we are making our independent journeys. In 2018, the UK had just over 14,000 road casualties for under 16, of which 43 were fatal, with 28 of them being pedestrians. The most hazardous activity for a pedestrian is crossing the road, so we need to carefully consider the safest options for doing this. If pedestrian crossings are available, we should use them, even if it means we have to walk a few yards further. If available, the safest crossings are the Pelican Crossing, Toucan Crossing and Pegasus Crossing, where road traffic is controlled by traffic lights. If a zebra crossing is the only one available, this should be used. However, we should bear in mind There are no traffic lights to control the traffic in this case. Although pedestrians do have priority over vehicles, we should not, as a pedestrian, automatically assume that the vehicle drivers have seen us and will stop. So we should only cross once we are sure the vehicles on both sides of the road have stopped. Then walk across and, as a courtesy, nod or raise a hand to thank the vehicle drivers. Now, if a crossing is not available, then there are a few things we can do to help us enable us to cross safely. Firstly, if possible, try and cross away from parked cars and not try and cross in from between them. It could be dangerous, as the parked cars will make it difficult to get a clear view of both sides of the road, which may mean we have to edge out into the road. This may make it difficult for vehicle drivers to see us, particularly on dark and wintry nights, and if we have dark clothing on. Trying to cross a road too close to the brow of a hill or too close to a bend in the road are also unsafe places to cross, as we may not be able to see the vehicle coming and might not give the driver enough stopping distance should we be in the middle of the road when they come into view. If the road is a single carriageway and subjected to the national speed limit, this is indicated by a road sign, a white circle with a thick black line running through it. The vehicles could be travelling at 60 miles an hour, and the stopping distance for this vehicle at this speed is a minimum of 73 metres. And this greatly extends that distance if the road is wet and it's dark. Another risk to consider as a pedestrian is making sure we are not distracted as we're crossing the road, particularly. So there are three main things we can do to help us keep safe as a pedestrian in this case. Do not use mobile phones while crossing the road. Do not have earphones in while crossing the road. And do not get distracted by friends calling to us while we are crossing the road. This has become even more important now as more and more electric vehicles are being used on the roads and are a lot quieter than vehicles with petrol or diesel engines. So we may not be able to hear them even if they are quite close. If we begin to make more independent journeys by cycling, then the best way to stay safe is by undertaking training. There are a number of schemes running to provide free training for cyclists, of which one is Bikeability. Bikeability was launched in England in 2007 and is the government approved and nationally recognised award for cycle training, which is overseen by the Department for Transport. It is underpinned by the national standards which were developed by leading experts in their fields of both cycling and road safety. Bikeability is cycling proficiency for the 21st century, designed to give us the skills and, just as importantly, confidence needed to cycle safely on today's busy roads. Visit our Safer Essex Roads Partnership cycling pages at saferessexroads.org for more information on Bikeability and to see the full list of local courses available.